everybody, welcome back to Messy Vegan Baker. I'm Christina, and today I'm very nervous. I decided that I was finally going to take on the challenge of making this said dessert. So I tried making it yesterday, shocker, I know, but this one is really tricky. I think whether it's vegan or not vegan, you just have to kind of bake it a lot and figure out the tips and tricks and like what works for your oven and all that fun stuff. I decided that it was probably a really good idea to try it first, and I'm glad I did because they did not turn out at all. They got like mushy and weird. To be fair, the batter was super dry, but for the most part, you know, it's just kind of trial and error from what I've read. Like, here's some tips and tricks to help you, but overall, good luck. So, hopefully I've piqued your interest, or you might even know what I'm doing today. But today is the day that I am going to be making vegan macaroons. I'm excited, kind of-ish. I don't know. I do have a few things that I changed because hopefully that'll make a difference. But these won't turn out perfect even today. I wish they would, like, second beginner's luck, that's a thing, right? But hopefully they'll turn out semi-well. Yesterday, when I made them, they literally just melted. So, not really sure why that happened, but I do know that my batter was way too dry. And I think I overfolded it because apparently that's something you need to be very careful about. The few things I'm gonna do, I'm going to lower my oven temperature. I'm also going to put a thermostat in it to make sure that the oven is semi where I want it to be. And then I measured out the almond flour and the powdered sugar, and then I sifted them. And last time I sifted them while I was measuring them out. So I don't know if that's going to make a big enough difference, but we're going to try it. And then I'm going to use my KitchenAid. Yesterday I used the hand mixer, which I have on standby in case this can't reach it. Also, I baked a double batch of aquafaba and I let it sit in the fridge overnight, whereas yesterday I didn't do that. I just let it sit in the fridge for a few hours, which I think it was a few hours. And I think that's supposed to be good enough, but maybe not. Also, I will post the link to the blog that I'm following down below, and then I might do a few tips and tricks and things that I've learned on my blog, only because I haven't posted anything on there lately, and it is a beautiful blog if you ask me, and more people should see it and have an excuse to go see it. So go check out my blog, please. Also, if you're new here, I don't know why I have spatula hands. If you're new here, welcome. It's always exciting to have new faces. If you like what you see, then you could hit that subscribe button if you wanted to, and that like button if you like things like this. I think I've talked enough. I have 110 grams of almond flour and then another 110 grams of powdered sugar, and then 66 grams of granulated sugar. Oh, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. I have these nice silicone baking mats with the outline. If you don't have that, just use parchment paper and just wing it. You'll have matches, don't worry. And then I have a piping bag. You can use a Ziploc bag if you don't have one. And then I always put it over a cup. So I have this, and I like fold it so when it's in the cup, it's facing up, so none of the liquid or batter that I'm putting in there can escape. Personally, don't know how people just hold the bags and like effortlessly get it in. I just don't know. So, my word, that felt like a lot of talking. Without further ado, let's get baking. All right, so I have 2 spatulas. This one's for folding. This one is just in case I need to get extra aquafaba out. Something I also did was I made sure to have a little bit of extra aquafaba just in case I needed to add it. I have a 1/3 cup here. And last time, I don't think I had quite enough because it was like just under 3/4 cups of aquafaba, and then when I cooked it down, it was just under 1/3 of a cup, and I was like, that's totally fine, but I don't think it was fine. Now, what I'm nervous about with using the stand mixer, because I have a bigger one, I think, maybe this is with all stand mixers, I don't know, but is that it's not going to get the actual bottom of this. But let's see. As I suspected, it barely is touching it. I'm going to whip it. I figured out how that song goes. It goes whip it, get da 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 da. Anywho, yeah. So I'm gonna use this, and then once it starts to get frothy, you put in the 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and then once it starts to form softer peaks, you add in the granulated sugar. Add it in thirds. Don't do it all at once because you want to give it time to kind of incorporate. Add like 1/3 of this and then fold it in, and once it's super smooth, then add the rest. I did not do that yesterday, and every other blog once I looked it up said that it helps just to do the baking thing. It has stiff peaks. I can put it over my head and it won't fall. Like so. So it's gonna take about 10 minutes, so just be patient with that part of the process. I think that was another issue. I wasn't that patient, and I just kind of wanted to make the macaroons. You gotta be patient. I'm just gonna add a little bit of this, and then you want to fold it, I think, like so. And there's a lot of really useful YouTube videos on how to do this too, from like professionals. Oh, this is already going better. Okay. Whew. Just breathe. We're gonna get through this. This is actually looking gorgeous. So yeah, I think you can see how I'm folding this. I'm trying to show you, but I also just want these macaroons to work out. So, okay, I did it. And wait, it's still holding. I think I did it. Okay. So now we're going to put this into the lovely thingamadoodad. That is the consistency you want, I think. Pretty sure. I mean, will these turn out perfectly? No, because the next challenge we have to do is the oven. I think you're gonna need 2 of these pans. So now the fun part. Oh yeah, look at that beautiful thing. Okay, so from all of my research, you want to just plop it down like that. Ooh, guys, these are actually looking okay. I don't know if you can tell, but you start in the middle and then you just kind of press it down. And these ones on the edges might be a little wonky. Uh-oh. So these are, oops, sorry, Gerald. These are spreading a lot. Maybe I didn't quite get the consistency right. Whatever. I'm just gonna let them sit for, I think they said about 30 minutes. And while I do that, I'm gonna play with the oven. I'm gonna put it at 250 and see what the temperature is. It tastes good. You know what I bet happened? I think I mixed it and it was holding its shape, but probably not for long enough. So close. It's okay. You learn every time you bake, so it's fine. Okay, so these baked in the oven for like 12 minutes. And they spread out a lot, which means that the oven is too hot. So I turned it off for now. I'm gonna try one more time. I think if I can get the oven temperature down and figure out how to not make them spread out so much. And then apparently I either under whipped the aquafaba, which maybe I needed to whip it for like a few more minutes, or I over mixed it, which I feel like I didn't do that because it wasn't quite lava-like, which is a common term. So I'm gonna try it one more time because I have the aquafaba for it. I'm not gonna film it just because I wanna really focus on this, and you guys have seen it, so I'll tell you what I did differently. Yeah, so I'll see you once the second batch is done. It's been a hot minute. I remade it again. I double checked everything. I even set my timer to 10 minutes to make sure that I actually whipped it enough. And I think I under whipped it the first time. From start to finish, when you start to whip it, add the cream of tartar and then the sugar and stuff. That entire whipping process should take 10 minutes about. The first time it was stiff, but it wasn't as stiff as the second time. Just make sure that there are stiff peaks, like it peaks and it stays. It doesn't like flop over, because that is not ready. Mix it, and then once it's incorporated, do like 2 folds and check it. And if it's starting to, drizzle down, do the figure 8. If you can do the whole figure 8, awesome. Wait 30 seconds, and if that figure 8 is still holding, you are golden. Make sure you really slam them down, because if you don't, you're gonna get a lot of air bubbles, and then it cracks your cookies. Also, the recipe in there says do it at 310. Start it low, because I did it at 310. Granted, I have an old stove, so it's kind of hard to be really specific and exact with what I want. I ended up having it around between 200 and 250, which I know is not specific at all. Again, it's just my oven. Typically, professional macaron artists will start it at like 215 degrees Fahrenheit. Start it super low, and then if it's not baking, you can increase it a little bit, but that's easier to fix instead of it being too high, and it does this lovely number. I checked it every 5 minutes, and I would flip it every 5 minutes. That seemed to do really well. So those are my tips and tricks on how to do it. And then I meant to film me making the buttercream, but I'll give you all the link to the recipe, and I'll tell you how much I ended up doing. So this recipe calls for vanilla buttercream, but surprise, I was like, no, I'm gonna make a different flavor. So I did lemon. It was delicious. I didn't really measure how much lemon juice. I just kind of started with a little bit and then kept tasting and adding. I also added the lemon rind because that gives you the real lemon flavor. Then I piped it. I think I maybe I should have piped it a little more, like a little taller, so that they had that height, but they turned out, so it's okay. That's all I care about. They are gorgeous. I mean, some of them cracked and aren't perfect, but it tastes amazing, and some of them are perfect. And I was so excited because that was the 3rd time I'd done it. It's kind of a long process. It's just a lot of stress and like making sure it's exact. So it's not like cookies where you can just be like, oh no, I put too many chocolate chips in there or whatever. I don't know. And I did it because I am awesome. I'm so excited. So will I make these again? Probably. In the near future? No. I have 3 random little babies that I piped some frosting on. I already tried it, but I'll eat it again. The macarons themselves are really sweet, but they don't have much of a flavor, which from everything I read, you don't really want to put flavor in there because it's mostly in the buttercream. But those are like fluffy and light and slightly chewy. They're perfect. And then the buttercream is super good. So I personally, when it says lemon, I want it to be like lemon, you know, not like, ooh, I'm lemon. I'm kind of tickling your taste buds. What? No. We are going to have lemon. It's gonna like, you know? So that's what I did. It's so good because you get the texture of the cookie and then the like sourness of the lemon. It's beautiful. Basically a professional chef now. No big deal. I seriously am so proud of myself and so excited as to how they turned out. I did it. I can die happy now. Actually, no. I have to learn how to make old-fashioned fudge. I will have a ton of the links down below for you guys as to the ones like troubleshooting and the original recipe and just tips and tricks on how to do it. I also will probably write my own blog post about it, so that way you guys can look at my pretty blog too. Thank you so much for watching, especially this one. Hopefully you were entertained and learned a butt ton, because I did. I'll see you next week.